Yep. Good evening, everyone. So last session we finished working with reactive forms and forms. Now another important concept we are going to discuss today is angular routing. So what is routing concept is actually routing is a technique. Routing is a technique used in web applications to create and configure user friendly and SEO friendly URLs. So routing is a technique used in web applications to create and configure user friendly and SEO friendly URL. Actually, what is meant by routing technique means without routing, I will tell you. Actually, routing is a new thing. New thing means from few years we are using. In the beginning days of web, we don't have this concept. I don't know from how many years you may be using internet. So when in the initial days when we started using internet, do you know we have to remember the address of any website correctly? Even today I have my old diary. In that diary we noted down some website addresses, URL, because we need to carry that diary to an internet point and we have to type that address by seeing the diary. That means we don't have powerful search engines like Google and all at that time. Then if you type a small mistake in URL, it will not open. It will not show any suggestions. Simply it will not open. That means URLs are very strong. And if any mistake in URL, you can't visit. These days you don't have that problem. These days in URL, you can type keywords. Directly it will use a default search engine and it will show the results of those keywords. That means you don't need to remember any website address. So because of powerful search engines. So earlier, the URLs are not user friendly, not even SEO friendly also. SEO friendly means, I will tell you another point. In the beginning of YouTube, when YouTube came first, so we spent 5, 10, 15 minutes of time on YouTube and finally I found a video and I watched that video. I want to show the video to my friend. Then I forgot these 5, 10 minutes in which category I searched. So many browsing happened. And I can't bookmark that. I want to show him on his machine. Then again, I need to spend 10, 15 minutes time. But now you can see when you open YouTube and log in into your account, what it will do is it will show from where you left the video. Am I right? That means it will even give you suggestions related to recently what you use. That is all because of one of the concept for that is routing. So that is actually analytics, but analytics also depends on routing. If routing is not there, we cannot create such user friendly, SEO friendly URLs. For example, earlier, suppose we have HTTP colon. So www.amazon.in. In that we have electronics.php something, PHP, JSP something. In that we have some category. Category is equal to mobiles. In that some model is equal to Samsung, like this. This is the URL in the early days. Even today also, you will get such URL. But with routing, it becomes like this. Amazon.in/electronics/mobiles and/Samsung. This is routing. This makes URLs more clean and simple, secured and user friendly. That is the result of routing. Routing make your URLs in this way. So these are both search engine friendly as well as user friendly. So user friendly URL allows the user to query any content directly from URL. You can query any content directly from URL. You can directly access what you want directly from URL. It is easy to remember. And SEO friendly URL, so allows crawlers to exactly know your location. They can exactly know in the page what you are watching. Which page you watched, it is easy to know. But in that page, what you watched is difficult. That is possible with routing. That is the concept of routing actually. For example, you might have seen, suppose in your mobile, you are watching some shopping site. In shopping site, you searched for some products. You haven't purchased, you just searched. Now open YouTube and watch YouTube. Suddenly you will find an advertisement of that shopping in YouTube. Have you observed? How come Amazon, YouTube knows what I searched on my Flipkart? That is one of the concept is API sharing. API shares the data across apps running on same device. But sharing data is okay, but how it knows exactly what I searched? That means knowing my page is not a great job, but knowing my location in page is a great job. That is possible if you have good routing, right? Routing makes SEO friendly and routing makes user friendly. Another specialty is actually routing uses implicitly AJAX calls. Routing uses implicitly AJAX calls. What is advantage of implicitly AJAX calls? So new details are added to page without reloading the page, reloading the complete page. That is good. Without reloading the complete page, the new details are added to the page. This is actually the concept of AJAX. Actually, earlier for doing this, we have to use a lot of jQuery AJAX. That means without reloading the page, new details are added to page. That means you can bring new details and add to the page without refreshing the page. That is what actually, so it is the primary concept, primary feature required to build SPA. SPA is what? Single page application. This is the primary feature to require to build SPA. That means user will stay on only one page and he will get everything onto that page. All these days, what we were doing, we practicing so many exercises. While practicing every exercise, what we are doing every time, we are changing the bootstrap. Every time we are changing the index component. It should not be like that. So you will have only one startup. and in that you will display the complete screens. The user can access which one he wants. User can access which one he wants. So that means it is nothing but user will stay on only one page and can access everything onto the page. What is the single page nature? User can stay on one page and get access to everything onto page. That is what user can do. That means user will not navigate from one page to another. Earlier user used to navigate from one page to another. Now we will not navigate. We will stay on only one page and we will access everything onto that page. That is what actually the concept of routing. That means what we do here. Suppose you see some templates when I show you here, suppose get bootstrap theme. Suppose this is a website template. This is a website template. Here, this is a simple website design template. Now I click on any category, any option. Then what happens is when I click on any option, it will navigate to that location. It will navigate to that location. It should not navigate to that location. It should bring that and show here. That means how it should work actually is, suppose you see, means how it is going to work. Suppose you have, so we are designing here, yep. Suppose we are having, so index, here we are having index HTML. Now you will stay on this index HTML. Generally in traditional web applications, what happens? So you have some pages. You have page like login.html. You have like register.html. Now we have separate pages, login.html, register.html, like that we have pages. In the index page, we will put login, we will put register like links. When user clicks login, what will happen? This index page will go and login will come. If user clicks register, index page will go and register will come. That is traditional web applications nature. But what is single page application? User clicks register, then that register screen will come and display here. That means user will stay on only one page. What is that page? Index. When user selects login, then register will go and login will come. That means it will get that and display here. So user is not navigated from one page to another. User will stay on only one page. Everything comes onto that page. This is the concept of routing. This is the nature of single page application. Single page application means user will not navigate from one page to another. User will be in only one page. People have a wrong idea sometimes. Actually, they say single page, multi-page. It's not multi-page because here how many pages we will have? Only one page. Single page means only one page we are having. No, login HTML is a page. Register HTML, every component have a page, na? Right? So people have a wrong idea. They think that single page means only one page will be there. Multi-page, they divide like that. Actually, it is not multi-page. Traditional web application, single page application. Traditional web application, what is the concept? User will navigate from one page to another. And in single page application, what is the concept? User will stay on only one page and he can bring other pages information into that page. This is possible even with jQuery. JavaScript jQuery also can do this. But JavaScript jQuery requires a lot of explicit AJAX. What is the specialty is Angular introduced routing, and this not only Angular, all technologies currently using routing. Because of this routing, you can easily handle this situation without using much navigation from one page to another. Actually, routing is available both. That means routing is a technique used both client side and server side also. Client side and server side. Both side will be there. Server side routing also will be there, client side. Angular is using routing client side. Server side means Node.js, .NET, JSP, PHP. These all also can use server side routing. Server side routing. So client side routing will be there, server side routing also will be there. Obviously, server side routing will be there because if you have seen client side, server side routing means if you have seen we used fake store na? Fake store. And when we used fake store what it is doing, fake store API / products, it is returning all products from the database. It is returning all the products from the database. So this is not client side routing, it is server side routing. That means server side, they have written some routes. These will navigate to the database, get the data and fetch the data and display. For that, they may be using some server side logic. And actually, this is server side route. This is server side route. So routing is server side and routing is client side, both. So routing is not a concept of Angular. Routing is a concept which is used in all type of web applications. So Angular, React and all these are using client side routing. So we are going to see that client side routing. Of course, you can see server side routing if you know any server side technology. I will show you one simple API type. You can try that, right? I will show you. Initially, client side routing. So Angular is using routing client side. It is using client side, and very important how it handles routing client side. For that, what is the library? So Angular provides a built-in library for configuring routes. For configuring routes, it provides a built-in library. Actually, that library is Angular router. Angular router is the library. It is the library which is used to configure routes. It's a ready-made library available. But here, one more important thing you should know is routing is a concept which is not stable. Some issues will be there. That is the reason we have to overcome those issues with the traditional queries also. Means we cannot completely depend on routing. We have to use a combination of routing and traditional approach. Both are required. That means there are certain issues in routing. Those are not satisfied at high level. So we use a combination of traditional approach also. So I will tell you, we will see that point. Actually, routing is a separate concept. For example, see here. When you look at the Angular versions, you see Angular versions. Angular started with 2 versions. Before 2, it was Angular JS. After 2, there is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. Now up to 14. 14 and up to latest is 15. There is no 3 version. There is no 3 version of Angular. There is no 3. Why there is no 3? Because a small reason there that is related to routing. So I am explaining. So you don't need to know about it because that is several years back, right? But an idea is good. So Now the point here why there is no 3 version, because actually they released Angular 2 and its core library is Angular/core. It is version 2. In that actually we have a Angular router. Angular have a router that's also version 2. Then what happened is we faced a problem in this router in 2 version. Some issues came, some bugs came, and to fix those bugs, what Angular team has done, they changed the routing related concepts, improved, they made modifications and released it as 3. Angular version is 2, but router version is 3. Now, what is the next Angular version? Angular next version is 3. Angular next version should be 3. In that case, what is the core version? Core version is 3. What will be the Angular router version? Angular router version will be 4. Because next version, this will continue forever now, lifelong. They want to overcome this there itself. They want to overcome this problem there itself. That's the reason they decided that we will not release 3. They said that because this will continue forever now, so we will wrap this here only. So they decided that we will not release 3. Directly we will release 4. Core will be 4. Router also will be 4. That is only the reason, right? That is because of routing. And routing is one concept which is not stable. That means it may change if any minor releases are happening. It will change. Some changes may come into routing. And routing has some issues. That is the reason we have to have combination of traditional and routing. I will tell you what are the issues. We will discuss about that. Initially, this is the point. So there is no Angular 3. If anybody asked in any interview, do you know that there is no Angular 3 and why? Reason is routing. That means because of some bugs in routing, they have to stop. They have to change the version of router library into itself. Due to that version improvement will continue forever. They want to round up the version. That's the reason they haven't released 3. They released directly only 4, right? That is the point. So that is because of routing, right? And Angular router have important. Actually, routing for application is defined by using a router module. Routing for application is defined by using a router module. You have seen components, you have seen services, you have seen pipes. Now you will see modules. How to design a module. What is a module? Already we discussed. Module is a collection of classes, methods and all, right? So router is a module. It contains a lot of things inside. A module contains components, a module contains services, a module contains pipes. Everything is present in a module. So technically router is a module. It is a combination of everything. Now how to design a module? Actually modules are created by using Adnet ng module decorator. So this is the decorator. This is the directive. By using ng module, we have to create the directive. That is the directive used for creating modules. I don't need to explain the flow because already flow I told you, if you remembered. Client makes a request will come to web server will use a handler will send the request to routing engine will get the response to the routing table. Remember the flow we discussed. that flow we are going to create now. Manually we will create that flow. We will see, right? So this is module and this is the directive. Now modules are created by using ng module. So how to define this? We have to configure like this. So we have to define import. What to import? ng module. ng module you have to import from Angular core. From Angular core library we have to import. After importing, we need to use an ng module marker. ng module is a marker, and we need to create a class, export class. So this is suppose app routing module. That is the class we need to configure. Now usually the file name will be app routing.module.ts. That is the file name. So for routes, we configure this routing module.ts, right? It will be app routing module. And important here, so many questions are there, I will tell you. FAQs I will tell you. In many interviews they ask, because remember, every routing module name is mandatory to be app routing, compulsory. It is mandatory that every routing module name should be app routing. It's mandatory. Now in interviews they ask a question like, can we have multiple routing modules in one project? Can we have multiple routing modules in one project? Remember, name must be one only. Then how we can have? The answer is, can we have multiple routing modules? Yes, we can have. If name is same, how you will have another one will overwrite now? We can have when we are developing a project in multiple module system. Multiple module system. Currently we are developing a project directly. Later we will build a project in multiple module system. There every module can have a routing. I will explain the scenario actually. Later we will see that. Suppose I opened HDFC Bank website. This HDFC Bank website is having, this is HDFC Bank website. This website is having, this website is having main route. It is having main route. In the main route, it is having separate modules like personal. It is having like NRI. You can see them, right? You have like SME. These are the modules. Actually, what you will find later is in this personal, in that personal, again there will be several routes. Understood? That means we can have a separate route for this personal. Personal is a module. In personal, again, personal login, personal register, personal statements, details will be there. NRI, again, NRI login, NRI register. That means every module will have a routing again. Every module can have a routing. That means main route will be there. Every module can have its own routes. Such environment we haven't designed. Such environment we will design later. Currently our environment contains only one simple module system. But later in the next level I will show you, we can create an environment with multiple module systems where every module can have a separate routing. Every module can have a separate routing. So is it possible to have multiple routes? Yes. In a project we can have multiple router modules. How they will work we will see later. Initially this is, so one point you need to understand, you need to configure this. Now this is how we have to create the routes and how to write the routes. If you remember the architecture, let me show you request flow. Yeah, I hope you remember this. This is the architecture. I explained how it works, right? That means client makes a request, routing engine, route table. Now our application is having some components. For these components, we need to create a table. We need to create a table, and this table is created. This table is created by using routes collection. The table is a collection. So in order to create this table, so you need a library. That means what is the library you required? So routes class is used to configure routes class is used to configure a virtual route table. It is used to configure a virtual route table. That means how to create a virtual route table? We have to create that by using this routes class. That means what we have to do? Constant routes. It is of what type? Routes is equal to, it is an array. And very important, this array contains, every route contains a path. Every route contains a path, and initially it contains a component. That is what route table looks like. You see, I showed you route table. It contains path and a component. That means what is the request you are expecting? On that request, what to deliver, what to send as response. Path defines the request and component tells the response. So on that request, what should be the response? That you have to define by using this. Okay, now see here, I'm creating here, this is routes. We have to configure the routes by using this. This is route table. After that, this table must be used by our app. Then what we need is router module class. Router module class is used to import and export routes. It is used to import and export routes for application, so that now application can start using routes. So two steps are there. We have to create the routes and we have to load the routes. That means we have to create a route table. After creating route table, this route table must be loaded into memory. Then application will start using that table. Who will create the routes? Routes are created by which class? Routes. Who will export the routes to application so that it can start using? Router module. Routes are configured by using routes. Routes are imported and exported by using a router module. It is compulsory to configure this. So configuring routes contains all these options. Configuring the routes contains all these things. Let's see how we can handle it. I will show you a basic approach first. Then we will go into detail, right? How to configure the routes, define the routes and all. And very important is actually at the time of creating the project, we ignored routing. At the time of creating project, it asked, do you want to add routing module? And we said no. You remembered? That is the reason routing is not available in our project. We have to manually add. It's okay, we can add manually. When at the time of creating project, it asks, do you want to add routing? And when you are creating an application, ng generate application, in that first question, it will ask, do you want to add route? Then we say yes. When you say yes, nothing will happen. Only one extra file will be added. That extra file we will add now. Manually we will add. If it will not add, we will add, right? Let's see here. Now how to create the routes for our project, we will see that. So what we want to do here is we will create a complete new environment actually. Yeah? Suppose this is our So app folder, this is our app folder. So here we have Netflix, we have some other components, so much is there because it is messed up with a lot of things here. What I will do is, let's create something like, we will take some real example like, let's say this is Get Bootstrap, themes are there. No? Just here we have a theme. This is the theme. Suppose we want to create something like this. Just a top bar I will create. That means shopper, home, catalog, just top bar we will create. Under that some content we will load. So we will try to create that. That means actually, so shop for men, shop for kids, like this, these options are present, right? So this kind of design we will try to create, and when user selects, that data should come. Right, that information should come. So designing complete page requires all Bootstrap and all. Initial basic I will create here. Let's see. We will do one thing. In app, we will create a separate folder. And the folder name I am giving as shopper. I am giving shopper. That is the folder. This is shopper. Right. I hope we already created a shopper template. You remembered that, right? Shopper header, shopper footer, shopper index. Oh, is it there already, right? Let's see. In the shopper template, we have header, footer, and index. Yeah. So which one is starting? Shopper index. Huh? Let's see what it is showing actually. Shopper index. Shopper index. Shopper index component, right? So, yeah. Yeah, this is already there. Huh? This is already there. You see there is a home, there is a shop, there is a catalog, blog, and pages. This design is already created in the beginning. We done that. Huh? In the beginning, we created it. Now we will make it work. That means what should work is we need a home page. So here we need a home page. We will do one thing. In this, we will add fake store like concept. For example, see, I will go to the shopper index HTML. In that, what we are doing here, shopper header. Yeah, in shopper header component, I am changing this here, home. Here I said electronics. Here we have what is there? Jewelry. Jewelry. Okay. And what is it? Men's fashion, something like this. So women's fashion like this. Okay. Men's fashion, women's fashion. These are the things which we have. Right? These are the basic things we have there. Home, electronics, jewelry, men's fashion, women's fashion. Now what is the concept is, when I click on home, that home should come here in the middle, this area, am I right? That means it is a separate component, but it should come here. It should display here. When I say home, electronics, jewelry, those details should come here. Actually, they are separate components. We need to bring them and display them here. That is the concept we want to achieve. Let's see how to do that. First thing, we need all those components. One component for home, another for electronics, jewelry, men's, and women. We will create all those components separately first, right? Let's do. What we will do here in the shopper, we will add some in shopper template. We will add new components. Open in terminal. Yeah, here we will generate components. ng generate component shopper electronics. Okay. Skip this. Shopper electronics. That is one component. And another component shopper men. Shopper jewelry. Jewelry. And yeah, now we have shopper electronics, jewelry, men. And here we have shopper women. Women also. Okay, and one more we need home. One more the component we need is home. So we need another component is home. Shopper home. Shopper home is another component. Okay. That is the option we are having. Fine. Now what we will do, all the components are ready. Already they have some sample title. So first we will achieve that. Okay. Now we need to create a routing for this. Remember, user should not move from here. User will stay on this page. What is this page? Shopper index na? He will stay on this page, and from begin to end, everything he can access on that page. And you should not change this in index HTML anymore now. In index HTML, only one startup is fixed. What is it? Shopper index. And in app component also, one is fixed. That is shopper index. We will never change this anymore now. Everything we will bring into that and display. Right? Let's see how we can achieve that now. First thing, now what we have to do is, we need to add a routing module into the project. So we need to add a routing module. Let's see. It should be added in app folder. Routing module is added in app folder. That means in the app folder, we are adding a new file. I am adding a new file, app-routing.module.ts. App routing module.ts. This we are manually adding. In this, we need to import. So we need to import what? We need ng module. So ng module from Angular core we have to import. Next we need two things. One is we need routes. So routes is from Angular router. Another one is we need a router module. These two are required. A router module and routes. These are required. From Angular router we need to import them. So ng module is for configuring modules, and these are for configuring the routes. Now what is the class? So export class app routing module is the class. Initially it doesn't have anything. Class is empty, right? Now how it becomes a module? We need a directive at the net what ng module. ng module requires import and export. We have to tell what to import and what to export. Here, first we need to create a routes collection. You see, I am creating constant routes. It is of what type? Routes type. Then it is an array. In that array, we need to configure an object. Every route object contains a path. It contains a path. What is the path? I will keep empty. That means if user is not requesting anything, then what should happen? If user is not requesting anything, better bring home page and show. That means what we will do, comma, component. Which component to deliver? The component name. What is the component name? Shopper home. Am I right? Shopper home component should come. That we have to import. That's it. Similarly, you write the paths. What is another path you are expecting? User will request in the URL, he will request electronics. Understood? Then what is the component to deliver? So shopper electronics we need to deliver. Am I right? All those are imported automatically. Here path, what is next one? Jewelry. So right, and here we need a component. Component is what? Component is a shopper jewelry. Okay, next, another path. What is the path? This is men. I will just give men, okay? And component, so it should be shopper men component should be there. Another path, and another path is woman. And the component, so this will be shopper woman component will be there. So this is the path. If user is requesting something which is not there, then we should say not found. We should display not found. So we will add one more component. I will add another component. ng generate component shopper not found. Okay. This is the component. There you should say it is not found. Okay. Okay, now let's go here. We will add how to add that path. If path is double asterisk, this indicates user requested something which is not available. Right? Then what should happen? We have to use component. Which component? Shopper not found component should come. This is called wildcard route. In interviews, they ask what is a wildcard route. Wildcard route defines what to send if anything is not matching to request. We will send simply not found. Please try another. So this is the basic route. This is route table. Now we created a route table, but this route table must be loaded into application. So that application will start using this table. Who will load these routes into application? So in the module, we need to import. Imports, what to import? We have to import by using router module for root level of project. We have to import all the routes first. That means for root, for child, two options will be there. For root means root level, child means module level. Submodules I told you now, that environment is not there for us. For us currently it is root. In the next level you will get child also. That means roots, is it for root level or child level? It is asking. Root level means primary application. Child level means submodules. I told you NRI module, I told you personal module. If there are multiple modules, we can configure the routes for child. Here we have to configure the route for roots. First we are importing routes. That means whatever routes you created, these routes are first imported. After importing, we have to export these routes. We need exports. Which one? Router module should export. Then it is accessible outside the scope. That means we have to import the route table and later export the route table. If route table is exported, then only it is available to access. You have to create a table, import the table, export the table. All are done. Now still not ready because this routing module you added manually. Your application don't know this. Where to register our modules? In app module, modules have separate imports place. Na? Here we have to import. Which one? You have to import app, routing module you have to import. That is fine. This is how we need to configure. This is the first step. You have to configure the routes, we have to import the routes, and we have to export. Now your project is ready to use the routes. Okay. Now what should happen is user should able to click on this home. That means we need to create a link which is not an ordinary link, which is an route link. This link will not use href. It will use a route link which will navigate to the path defined in the route table. That means we need to make it link clickable. So, and very important here, router links. So route links are configured by using anchor element with Angular property, with Angular attribute. Its name is router link. We have to use router link. That means syntax how to write anchor, no href now. We have to use router link, and here we have to use route path name. Understood? And you can put a text or you can put an image, because link can be anything, clickable text, image, icon, anything you want. No href now. It uses a route link, and it should use the route path. It should use the route path. That is important. So now here, so we are going to which page? Those links are present in header. Huh? We have to go to shopper template. In shopper template header, in header HTML, this must be clickable now. This must be, for home we haven't created now. This must be clickable. That means in routing module we have home not created. Huh? We will do one thing. Directly home is loaded. Not only directly, when user clicks home, then also home should load. That means you should design one more option now. What is that option? If path is what? If path is home, then which component to come? The component, which component? Same, shopper home. It will work, but this is not recommended. Why? Because this component is already loaded. You are reloading it again. If already loaded, then what you do is you can directly match to that location and access that location from memory. It will work currently, no problem. But this is not recommended because you are loading the component again, which is already loaded in memory. Then if it is already loaded in memory and you want to go to that place again, then don't use this. You can use a simple option. So you can use a simple option. So that means we can use path match. We can use an option path match. Path match as full. We can use path match as full. Another option, we have to use another attribute called redirect. Redirect to which path? Empty path. That means what happens whenever user clicks on home, automatically it will take you to this location. In that location already shopper is there. Na? It will match that path and it will load that complete path here. That means we are not loading the component again. We are matching to that path and we are accessing the path. So that is good. This is good, but not required every time. It depends on your requirement. So this is one option. So now what we have to do, go to header. We want to make this clickable. How to make it clickable? We will put an anchor. What is the anchor path here? Anchor should use an option, router link. It should navigate to which path? Home. Remember, these path names are case sensitive. In the route table, how you define the path, in the same way you have to mention. Now the home becomes a router link. It becomes a router link. But here link is having a separate appearance. So then what you can do, you go to CSS, and you can simply put here anchor. So anchor, wherever anchor is there, we will put an option text decoration. We will put none, so that underline will be there, will not be there. Color we will keep it as white. That means wherever does are there, it will display normal. It is a link now. It is a link. And now interesting part is when you click, it will go to the path and bring that component and display where. Display where? It should display here now. This location is defined as router outlet. That means every route should have an outlet location. It should have an outlet location, router outlet. Outlet indicates where to show the result, where to render the result. Every router needs an outlet. So when you click where to show, we have to show in the section. So we have to go to the which component? Index. This is index component. Na? In index component, at the top you are having header. At the bottom you are having footer. In the section we need the outlet. That means here we are using router outlet. We are using router outlet. And see here, when I am using router outlet, directly home works. Because we return path. Na? What is the path we return? If user is not requesting anything, by default which one will come? Home will come, and it is coming. And let's click on electronics, jewelry and all. For that we need links na? In the header component for electronics. What we have to do? We need to use an router link. Router link is electronics. For jewelry. So for jewelry. So we need jewelry, router link. Router link is jewelry. Jewelry like this. Okay. And this is fashion. And what is the router link for this? Router link is men. And this is women fashion. And what is the router link? Women. Router link is women. Okay. Now you can see I click on electronics, it will get electronics. It says electronics working. Huh? Currently we haven't kept anything. We will do one thing. We will fetch electronics from fake store and show those. In those components you can try that. Na? In the components we can do that. Jewelry is working, men's fashion is working, women fashion is working. Again, home is working, right? That means all these are working fine. So what we will do now, we need to customize. Let's go to home. And here I will just put a div. So class as dflex, justify content center, and align items center, and style I give an height as some 300 pixel. And here we will put a heading. So shopper home. So here I will put some div. Yep. And here we will put a paragraph, some so 50% off on products, electronics, something like this, electronics, fashion, something. And you can see this is the content, it is coming at the center. This is the shopper home we are keeping. So class text center I will give, and this is what we are displaying in the center. Now what should happen? This is shopper home, and we can put images or anything we want. We can put from there. How to navigate also I will show you. We will see that, right? Now I click on electronics, then all electronic products must come. We will do one thing. So we will keep APIs. Huh? So we learned service. Na? We will go to services. I think API data service is there. API data service is getting all categories. Another one, all products. We created this service to fetch the data. Now we need to use this. We need to use this to fetch any specific category related products. That means we will see, we will create an API method. What is it? Get. What is the get? Get get category. Yeah, get category. Get categories is there. Get specific category. Specific category. Just for your understanding sake, I said get specific category. What this get specific category should be? It is of what type? Observable type. Any type of array. Now here it should return this dot http dot get and any type of array. It should return any type of array. And in that we need to pass the URL. So here we are expecting some URL as a string type, and that URL I will pass here. That URL I am passing here. That means it should fetch the data from that particular URL and it will return. That means what we have done, we created a API method, service method. This is service get specific category service. Now what should happen? Let's go into our shopper electronics. We will go to shopper electronics and electronics component. Here we have to use that service. We will inject that service, private API. So we will inject that service. What is that service? API data service. Okay. Now through this we can access. We will collect all the categories. Public categories. Categories is an array. It is any type of array. Initially it is empty. And how to get all the these categories is nothing but electronics. Na? We are using electronics. Now tell me how to get that simple. On initialization, this dot API dot get specific category. It is expecting a path. Na? URL. We have to pass the URL. What is the URL? http://fakestore.api.com/what? products/category/category name. Category name is what? Electronics. It will return only electronics. Then we have to use a subscribe. We need to collect the data and we need to apply to this dot electronics is equal to data. You know this how to handle. That means all the electronics data is coming and it is storing in this location. Because we already learned service, through that service we are fetching the data and using it. So now all these electronics must be displayed here. Okay. Now I will put a heading. So I will say electronics home, and here we will put a create div, and what we will do here. So in this we are going to display some electronic products. Or how do we display all the electronic products here? So we will put a simple div again. So class as a card, and we have an image. This image source. So first we need to repeat this card. What we have to do? ng for let item of electronics. Yeah. And image source is coming from item dot image. So I will give here, so class as card image top, and the height I will give as suppose 100, 150 pixel. Okay, right. And we will put another div, and here we will put a class card header, and here we want to display only the title or some price I want to show. That means here we will bind. What is it? So item dot price, and we will put a currency pipe, just rough. And this card is going to repeat. For every card we will give margin 2, padding 2. And all these cards are displayed there. Electronics, I click on electronics. It should get all those electronics and display here. Some problem is coming. Let's see the issue, what it is. There is no error. It is coming, right? So some fetching related details are there. It taking time. Huh? All these must be displayed side by side, small. Then what we will do? We will keep class dflex and flex wrap. Okay, and this card we will put style width of every card will be 150 pixel. All these images will be in this way. That looks okay, right? We are displaying those images and showing them. This is electronics. This is home and this is electronics. It is displaying. This taking time. API data takes time to load. Okay. Now that is electronics home. Now similarly you can achieve others, right? That means now what we have to do here, just we need to keep. Let's go to the copy paste, right? That means on initialization, this is the specific category we want. This is for electronics, fine. Next one. So jewelry, right? And this is, we have to create public jewelry. Okay, jewelry is an any type of array. It's an empty. In the constructor, we have private API. What is it? API data service. And on initialization, same. Here we need to just change the category name. Category name is what? Jewelry. Jewelry. Okay. And here this dot jewelry. Okay, whatever data is coming, it will store. And here HTML logic is same. I will copy that and I will keep this in jewelry. HTML is same. And this is jewelry home. Jewelry home. And everything same, right? Concept means items are same, right? Or item related products and everything is similar. That is done, right? This is the, here it is not electronics, it is what? Jewelry. Okay. Now you can see these are home electronics. It will get the electronics products and display. I will show you one more technique. If it is taking time, we can put a spinner and we can put that loading. Right, in a spinner, if you can put that loading, then user knows that I need to wait. Right. It's taking time. Jewelry home. Okay, now this is also coming here. This is jewelry. And we have electronics. It is electronics. This is jewelry. It is jewelry. So we can create all the categories in a similar way. Now this is home. But here one special option you need to understand. Now this is first level, basic level navigation. Now when user clicks on that product, the product detail should come. That means when user clicks on any product, then the product detail should come. That means the product name, product price, product description, detail product should come. That means from here we want to navigate to another. From this location we need to navigate to another location. That means navigation from here to another. And observe here, you can request directly at the top. Suppose at the top, I am requesting like jewelry, and enter. It will get that jewelry directly. And at the top, I am requesting like electronics. It will get electronics directly. At the top, I am requesting, suppose contact. There is no contact. Then it says not found. Not found works because we haven't written any message there. We will put a proper message. The path you requested not available. Right? We can put proper message for that. That is what actually wildcard route. User selects anything from the route, it will come. User selects anything which is not in the route, then we will display through wildcard route. This is basic navigation. How the routing works, that is the basic navigation. So once you are aware of this navigation, now we will see in this more details. This is not done because routing has a lot of things. First you need to know routes, then route parameters, authenticating the routes, lazy loading of routes. So many will be there in interviews for this. We will learn one by one, level by level. So this is routes. Now next level we will see how to use route parameters. How we can transport data from one route to another. How we can create nested routes. We will see that. For that we need to understand the concept of route parameters. That we'll see tomorrow. Right now this entire example I will upload as a zip file. That shopper template I will upload as a zip file so that you can get it. Right, by seeing that logic, the route module and the zip file, so that you can understand. Okay, I will upload that into Classroom. You can see and try. Then in tomorrow's session, we will discuss about how the routes can be nested and how we can navigate using one route to another. In next session, we'll do that. Okay, right.